In our last video, we touched on God's design for relationships, and we really focused in on relationships with ourselves. Today, I want to talk about God's design for a relationship with Him. Like, we all know that we were created for God. And, one thing that has really stood out in my life is, are we bringing our whole heart to the Lord? Or are we just bringing parts of ourselves? In our relationships with humans, with our parents, with spouses, with friends, there can be, we hit these hard moments where trust is broken and there's pain and there's wounds and there's trauma. And that's just a part of life. If we don't take time to heal from those moments, we can take that and start to project that on our relationship with God. I had a dream where I was in this dark room and there was all these walls around me. And I knew that God was in the dream with me. I knew that He was on the other side of the wall. And it was just this empty room with just these walls. And I could hear the Lord in the dream say, "Are you ready for these walls to fall down?" And I remember waking up from the dream in fear. Like, it almost felt like a nightmare to me. And I go back to sleep and the dream continues. And the Lord in the dream was like, "Hey, I want all of you. Like, we're connected and we're in relationship, but there's these walls that you've built to protect yourself." Because anytime you build walls in relationships, we do it as a way to protect ourselves from getting hurt again. And we do that with God. And I felt the Father's heart for me in that dream saying, "No, I want to do life with you. I want the messy parts, the broken parts, the parts that hurt, the areas where you feel like you can't trust me." And so in the dream, I say yes to this journey with God and the walls begin to fall. And I woke up and I knew that God did something powerful, but that it would be a journey of walking out what just happened in the dream. And so something that I began to do was just got really raw and honest with God with what I felt. Because, we read scripture and it's like, trust the Lord your God with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding. You can declare, so many scriptures, but we have to be honest with what we actually feel. And so I remember I would just be driving to work and, I would feel anxious about the day, or I would feel, fear creep in, or maybe there's something going on with my parents that was, triggering me. And I would just begin to say, "Lord, I know that in theory I'm supposed to trust you, but right now I don't trust you. My grandmother is in the hospital and this is really challenging for me." And so as I begin to just bring this raw, just honesty before the Lord, I could really feel our connection get closer. And I realized wow, God's not afraid. He's not afraid to know what's actually going on with me. And it's so funny because we know that He's all seeing and He's all knowing. So He already knows what's going on with us. And I think I even use that as an excuse to not be relational with Him. It's like, "God, I don't have to tell you about my pain and about my bad day because you already know. So just fix the problem." But I felt like God was like, "No, I want to connect with you. I want to know what's going on. I want to be in this journey with you." And it's the same thing with your friends, with your spouses. They probably already know things that are going on with you from a factual standpoint. But when you open up your heart, it brings, this deepening in this relationship. And so I just want to pray for you guys today that you would really just begin to bring your whole heart to the Lord, that you would allow every wall that you've built to protect yourself, that you would just allow just the love of God just to knock those walls down as you step into greater intimacy with Him.